Oh, gnarly, dude. Looks like you just went overboard. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Overboard. I'm your host, Anthony.
And I'm your host, Jenny. Thank you so much for tuning in to our very first episode. We've been planning this podcast for months now, and we're finally getting it up and running.
Our goal with this podcast is to have open-minded, free-flowing, and free-form discussions across a variety of topics. Some topics that'll make you uncomfortable, some that are, of course, comfortable. Some will make you laugh, some will make you cry.
But nonetheless, we'll be diving in deep to everything.
So grab your scuba suit and get ready to jump overboard.
So we figured we would start this first podcast with something a little bit lighthearted, let you guys get to know us a little bit better before we jump into the rest of our podcast. As we go through and progress into our podcast, you guys will get to know us on a little bit of a deeper level. These questions that we have are a little bit more surface level, just general questions that you might ask somebody when you first meet them to get to know them a little bit better. So our first question is, I think it's one of my favorite questions. I think it's one of my go-to questions, but like, what's your favorite song / music? What are you listening to right now?
So my favorite song that I've had on repeat for the last few days is Flight Fantastic by Flamingosis. And if you haven't heard of Flamingosis, you need to check that boy out right now because he's bringing the heat. It's funky, it's groovy, it makes you feel good on a sunny day, makes you wish you was on the beach. You know what I'm saying?
And my favorite song right now at the moment probably has to be What You Did, which is by Mahalia. I probably just completely butchered her name, but I think that's. What do you think? How do you think you say that? Mahalia?
Yeah, Mahalia.
Mahalia and LMA. Again,
Song slaps.
it's so good. It's an R&B type song. If you listen to LMA at all, it's kind of
You should
like
probably know
her
what
vibe,
it is.
So definitely suggest it if you're looking for new music.
And the second question, have you ever been to a festival?
I have only been to Electric Forest, which is an amazing festival. And I'm not somebody who particularly, I don't want to say I don't like going to concerts or like festivals and stuff, but I definitely somebody who gets like a lot of anxiety around going to those type of things. And it was so weird when I went to Electric Forest because I really didn't feel any anxiety at all. And there's just so many people around. It's just like a completely different feeling. And we're definitely going to do a different podcast all about Electric Forest because there's so much to talk about.
And as for me, I've also been to Electric Forest. This is actually going to be my 6th year, and I can't be more excited. It's just one of the most magical places on earth. Disney, move over because Electric Forest is taking the cake there. Other than Electric Forest, I have been to summer camp, which is in Chillicothe, Illinois. That's a little bit more jam bands there than electronic music or even just dance music in general. Excellent vibe. Not quite as magical as Forest, but still a great festival nonetheless. And if you want to consider Bass Nectar curated events, ain't nobody got it like that. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, he raves about Bass Center. So if you are somebody who likes,
I
what do you even
rave about Bass Center. Wink, wink.
What is the like the technical term of that music? I don't want to butcher it. Like dubstep, electronic.
Bass music. Just keep it simple because a lot of these artists out there, especially in the dubs that originated in the dubstep genre, are just making so many different types of music, and it's so hard to label now. But that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, and I think we can both relate on the fact that we, I would say, tend to like smaller artists. Would that be like a like less mainstream
I would say that's pretty accurate.
music? Like normally not the stuff that you're listening to on the radio.
Like if it's popular on the radio, probably don't know it, to be honest. Sorry to say. I mean, there's a few songs, but
Well, yeah. But I would say like we definitely are like small artist people.
there's just so much good music out there. Like I find something every week on my Spotify, like weekly, and am just blown away. Like I feel like a lot of people say that they wish they were born in a different era, but we're born in the perfect era because we can listen to not only the old music, but the new music. And some of these new musicians are just breaking new ground.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the newer artists that are coming out are starting to, I don't want to say duplicate older um music sound, but they're bringing it a little bit back, so versions of it.
The revitalizing almost like an old sound that people used to love and bringing new light, breathing new life into it.
Yeah, like funk music, I feel like it's kind of like in the R&B, like the newer R&B singers, I feel like funk music's kind of moving in with the R&B. Like you get a little bit of that.
Even in the electronic scene, you have people like the Floozies, you have Grizz doing a funky old
Grizz
thing.
is amazing. Oh, I don't know if you want to count that as a festival either. I don't. It's
Grizmas?
Grizzmas is like a week long event. Um,
Stuff like a fundraising event in Detroit. That
is curated
Grizz.
by Grizz, and it's like a week long thing. He has different events. And then on the weekend, he has two shows. He has one show. Well, this year he had two just regular DJ DJ sets,
Yeah,
and
he
then
did it.
last year he had a live band set, which is incredible. If you are ever able to see a Grizz live band set, you are blessed because that was honestly at Electric Forest. He performed to a live band, and that was both times were probably my favorite shows that I've ever gotten to see.
There definitely some quality. Grizmas is the best time of year. I highly recommend it to anybody who likes Grizz, knows of Grizz, wants to like Grizz. I don't really know. But yeah. Cool. So what the next question is, what is your favorite TV show of all time?
I know mine. Do you know yours?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so mine is Criminal Minds.
Gross.
That is, it's they just ended their last season, and I have no idea where to find because I we haven't had cable. We just are doing the internet thing like a lot of people now with subscriptions and
We're
stuff.
streamers, dude.
Yeah, so we've been streaming, and I don't want to just pay for what is it? I think it's what are they on? CBS, I think. I think I don't know. I don't want to pay for that one channel just to I don't know. I just don't want to pay for another subscription.
Yeah, cable companies don't deserve yo dollars.
So I'm trying to figure out a way to watch the last couple of seasons because I haven't seen them. But growing up, that was like every week, me and my mom sat down and watched Criminal Minds and Guilty Obsession.
My favorite show is a little less serious, and that's gonna be The Regular Show. It-
Of course.
It's just got that energy, my dude. It's for the bros.
And the next question is what is your biggest fear? You want to take that away first?
I have to say, I don't know. I have two biggest fears. Like the first one's pretty simple. It's just a fear of failure.
I feel like that's something everybody has though. Like
Yeah, it's not really like unique. I have goals, and I feel like if I don't meet those goals, then I'm going to be failing myself and like failing in life. But, you know, it's not really about that, and I'm trying to learn to get better at that. But I would say my other biggest fear is that my friends don't really see me as a good friend.
See, I think that's so far from the truth though, because I personally go to a lot of events with you and your friends, and when you walk in the room and everybody else is there, they're always like, "Oh, like Skipper's here," and they get so excited. Like there's no way they don't like not like you. You know what I mean? They get so excited every time they see you.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of those irrational fears. I feel like a lot of people probably feel like that sometimes.
I mean, I feel like I have more of a reason to feel like that than you do. Your friends are like amazing, like out of this world. Like they do so much for you. Like all of you guys do so much for all of like everybody.
That is true. I do love my friends.
Yeah. So I think that's just one you're going to have to get over because that's so not true and so irrational.
Yeah, it's irrational. What's yours?
Oh, I was going to just keep on going. My biggest
You
fear
can't skate out of here.
is this is like a really like
She's trying to jump overboard.
weird one, but getting getting old. Not like that I'm not going to accomplish what I want to accomplish, but literally like the physical aspects of like getting old and not being able to like do the things that you used to do or remember things like you used to.
Yeah, that is scary.
And like also I feel like I have a horrible memory already. I feel like I'm going to have like full blown dementia by the time I'm like 50.
But that's like BS because you're like the most organized person I've ever met
I'm
in my
organized,
life.
but I don't remember anything.
What do you mean?
Like you could ask me anything about our childhood and I can pretty much not answer it. I don't remember. And I don't remember like middle school. Like you could ask me questions
Dude,
about that.
Middle school was a trip. I don't
I
even
barely
know.
remember freshman year.
I just remember playing Foursquare and then people getting mad because they were cheating at Foursquare. I'm talking to you, Craig Whitney, Sean O'Connor.
Yeah, so that was my biggest fear is just getting older and like not being able to do the things. And like also I feel like as you get older you just lose so many people.
You just
And
grow
it's just
apart.
yeah, it's no, not even that, but like death, you know?
Oh, damn.
Like people you're friends with and your family, like that's they all start to the older you get, the more they start to leave. So
Yeah,
that's I
but
mean, I don't know.
you're like young. I feel like you shouldn't be worrying about that at this point.
No, I really try not to, but it's just one of those things that like in the back of your head you're like always kind of thinking about.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, it does. But that leads us into our next question, which is what was the last book you read? And you're probably thinking, why does that lead us into that question? And it leads us into that question because the last book that I read was You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, which is a book basically about it's kind of like a self-help book, I guess, like moving forward. It's
More like a
very
self-improvement book, not really.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like tips on finances and believing in yourself and going for what you want. And it's very similar to The Erroneous Zones by Wayne Wayne
Dyer.
Dyer. Can't say it
Dryer.
right.
Yeah. Dr. Wayne Dryer. It's a good book.
It's a really good book. I would say the main difference is um Wayne's is a little bit more
Scientific.
and hers is more just kind of plain straight out there, right to the point. Whereas his like has like metaphors and
Technical
bigger words,
psychology
and
terms and
yeah,
good stuff like that. Both
yeah,
good reads.
yeah. I would definitely say read both of them. I kind of did it backwards. I would say probably read You Are a Badass first, and then read The Erroneous Zones. Because I read The Erroneous Zones my sophomore year of high school, which is just like if I were in high school now, I probably would have read You Are a Badass and then read Erroneous Owns later, just because it's kind of a little bit more elaborate and goes into deeper things, and kind of one of those books that you really have to like read multiple times to like understand
Definitely.
fully.
Definitely.
So what's your last book?
Yikes. The last book I read was actually, I think it was Shaken by Tim Tebow. And I'm a pretty spiritual person, and that's a pretty spiritual book. So it helped me get through a pretty rough time when I was reading it. Um yeah, it was good. It was good.
What was it about?
It was about Tim Tebow's world being shaken up when he got um just all his life. He kind of got kicked around and kicked off a lot of football teams and cut from teams, and that was all he ever dreamed of, was being a football player. So, he felt like a failure at that time, and he learned to get through it, and he actually ended up starting an organization, and that helps children. And yeah,
That's cool. Um, and then our next question is, do you play any instruments? You play guitar?
I play the bass guitar. I like to slap the bass. I like all things funky. I lay it down.
Yeah, we were both not athletic kids, so I personally
What? Athletic?
like we didn't play sports or anything. I mean, I danced, but like that's not we weren't in like recreational sports or anything. You know what I mean?
I was.
For like a fraction of like a time, like you were like 1 year.
When I was a small child, I had to be in basketball camp, and I'd played Little League, and I played flag football, and guess what? I hated all of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you were forced to do
Yeah, it
them,
was
and then
pretty
they finally
pretty not a
decided
good
that
time.
you
Worst player on the team.
didn't like it. So yeah, so you started playing guitar and I danced. I've always wanted to try to play an instrument. I tried for a second to learn the piano. I think piano players are really cool, and I feel like I don't know. I tried really hard and I just couldn't get in the hang of it. I feel like if I would have gotten more dedicated to doing it and got a teacher, I probably would have learned, and maybe I will in the future, but right now that's just not in my sights. So, no, I don't play any instruments. And yes, Anthony plays the bass guitar. And he also does some mixing a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit.
I have a DJ controller, and I mix
Mi-
house tracks.
Yeah,
The yeah. But anyway, the next question: have you ever broken any bones?
I haven't. I've sprained a lot of bones, but I've never I've sprained and I've pulled a lot of bones, but I've never broken any bones. Been pretty lucky, but knock on wood.
I, on the other hand, have broken bones, and so I was playing beach volleyball with some good friends of mine. It was 2015, the summer of June, 3 days before we were supposed to leave for Electric Forest. And I went up to hit the volleyball. And when I came down, my foot snapped in half, and like it folded over itself
So like
upwards.
yeah, so like toes to front of the ankle.
Yeah, yeah, like the top of my ankle, calf thing, whatever you want to call it. Not a good time. Devastating. And the best part about it is when I went into the hospital, the nurse was like, and the doctors asked me what happened and how I broke my foot in half. And when I told them that I broke it playing beach volleyball, everybody just laughed at me. And so they went and told all their friends, and I had all these random nurses and doctors coming up to me saying, "Oh, you broke it during volleyball, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're just like, ha,
And that's why we don't play sports.
exactly.
Um, so the next question is, what would you eat every day if you could? Do you want to answer that for me? Do you know the answer to that for me?
No, because you don't eat anything.
That's very true, but if I could eat something every day, there's one thing that I would.
Probably pizza.
Yeah,
You eat pizza
yeah,
9 times out of 10.
yeah. Okay, but I was thinking more of like a. It's not really a food. It's
Cereal?
no. You what? No, not. It's like a treat.
Rolos?
What? How are you not getting this?
Chips?
We're not siblings, I
A
guess.
treat? You don't eat anything.
I literally could eat ice cream every day if I wanted to.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, he knew that. He's looking disappointed right now. Yeah, but I'm obsessed with ice cream and I could eat it every day if it didn't wasn't dairy, you know?
me, on the other hand, I could eat, honestly, any kind of Mexican food
I was gonna
every
say
day.
tacos.
Like tacos, burritos, Doritos, flaming hot Cheetos. If it's spicy, you name it.
Yeah, you're always eating spicy food.
Yeah, that's why I like spicy.
And our next question is, what is your zodiac sign? Mine, I'm a May baby, so um I am a Taurus. Anthony is a Gemini. He's sitting here looking at me like he doesn't know.
I'm a
You're a
Gemini.
Gemini. Honestly, zodiac signs to me, like the whole daily horoscope type stuff, I've looked at them before and I feel like they're never ever right. However, I have went on, I don't know what site it was. This was a while ago. But the site had like you clicked on your sign and then it had like paragraphs for different parts of your life. So what you were like in a relationship, what you're like with your family, what you're like with career, like, and it was like a paragraph of everything and all these traits. And I read them and it was like spot on for like it was just a general overview, you know, not like a daily horoscope where it like predicts your day and stuff. But it
Yeah,
was like,
horoscopes are a little bit more off the wall. But I feel like while I don't believe everything that astrology brings to the table, I do think that there are some pretty valid generalizations that are made about signs that I think really deeply resonate with people. And I think it's cool. Like, if some people believe in it, like, I'm glad you believe in something because I don't know,
yeah, I mean
you
a
know?
lot of people are really, I feel like recently it's become like a really big thing for people to like ask you what your zodiac sign is when they meet you,
Yeah, it's like, it's
which is
almost too popular.
like it's very popular. Like I've never thought that somebody would walk up to me and ask me what my zodiac sign was.
Yeah. And it's also really annoying because every time I tell somebody that I'm a Gemini, they go, ugh, oh, you're a Gemini. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, I didn't do anything to you. Geminis didn't do anything to you. You just read our zodiac description and decided that we were all two-faced when we're not. Well, let me tell you something, punk. I love you.
We spread love, not hate. Uh
Unless you really deserve it. JK.
no, we're the type of people that would
We'll call you out.
no, I
I
would
will call
never.
you out.
He might call you out.
I don't play that game.
I don't call people out unless they're really, really doing something wrong. So, okay. How would you define your style?
One word.
One word.
Dad.
Recently, yes. No, I would say professor. Recently, just in like the past few months since you've gotten a new job, you dress so much like professor, like a what are they called? TA, like
A
TAs. You dress
teacher's
like a
assistant or
TA.
something. Call me Dr. Skipper.
No, literally though, he'll walk in with like sweaters and like
Suits. I don't really wear too many. I have a sweater. It's
But
not
like
really
with
my thing.
khakis and some dress shoes. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, some
Classic
fresh.
professor
Yeah,
outfit.
you about to learn today, cuh. What about you? How'd you define your style? I still keep it funky though.
Like comfortable. My style is very just
Yeah, you don't really have a style right now.
well not like right now I don't, but I mean I guess I don't really ever. I am a oversized t-shirt, sweatshirt, sweatpant kind of
Kind of like
person.
Yeezy. Yeah, yeah, you just
I
like
don't know
Yeezy.
about Yeezy, but
Yeah, like
definitely
Yeezy.
like baggier clothes. I like if they have designs on them. I like clothes with the like cool designs, not just like blank shirts that are oversized like Yeezy. Also, would never pay over $100 for a t-shirt that has nothing on it. I think that's so crazy that that is a thing.
Hey, some people got money for a t-shirt from China that costs $100, you know?
But I don't even know that if I had the money, I would go. I mean, it would have to be a really freaking amazing, like, soft shirt for me to pay $100 for a t-shirt, you know?
I don't know. I hope to obtain that kind of wealth one day where I
You
can
and
just
me
blow
both.
$100 on a Yeezy shirt.
You and me both. And the reason he said I don't really have a style right now is for some of you who might be wondering if you're listening to this and you know me, I've kind of gone off the grid a little bit recently. I've been having some health issues. Um, Nothing that's like life threatening or anything, but I have been kind of like confined to the house in like a bed for the past like 6 months almost.
Yeah, it's been a
I
while.
yeah. So in December of 2019, I was in the hospital for a couple days and they diagnosed me with what is called POTS, and it's an acronym, and it stands for posterior orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which basically means that anytime I move position, whether it's laying to sitting, sitting to standing, or even if I'm just standing up for too long, my heart rate increases um way past what it should. Like my heart rate when I stand up goes to the same heart rate of somebody who has been running on full speed on a treadmill for like 2 minutes, which is not normal and it doesn't normally go down. So like if I stay standing, it will continue to stay that high and or go higher if I start to move. Um I'm not going to talk that much more about it. If you want to look up POTS, you can go ahead and do it on your own time. I might in the future do a podcast on more of it, but I'm still kind of in the phases of figuring out things that work for me. Oh, and I didn't say it doesn't have like a cure or like a known treatment that helps everybody, which is why.
Yeah, it's pretty new in relatively in like the last 10 years or so.
Yeah,
So treatment for it is not really readily available because
it's just not
not
known yet. And
it's not very well studied.
yeah, so they have a treatment. I don't even want to call it a treatment center because that would imply that like people come out of it completely fine afterwards. I guess more of like a learning to live center. So like you go in and they teach you how to cope. Um, like exercises that you could do to help with your heart rate and basically try to get you into as normal of a daily routine as you possibly can without because right now I can't really do anything like even doing this podcast takes a lot out of me. um but yeah, like I said, I'm not going to go super far into it. I kind of already did go a little bit more than I thought I was going to. um
Told you we like to go deep.
yeah, but since I don't really know a ton about what works for me yet, I'm not going to do a deep dive into it, and hopefully eventually I'll get to the point where I can come back. And if one of you happens to have pots out there and have tips or are looking for somebody who does, hopefully in the future I will have tips for you too. So that's that on that. And that is going to close out our podcast, our very first podcast.
So, first off, we want to thank everybody who tuned in. Without listeners like you, this wouldn't be possible. And if you like what you heard, share with your friends.
And to stay updated on all things Overboard, head on over to our Instagram at Overboard X Podcast. That's Overboard, the letter X Podcast. See you later.
We'll get to steadier waters eventually.